Indian American parade faces accusations of anti Muslim bigotry. The annual India Day parade in New York City has erupted into a hotbed of controversy, exposing deep rooted tensions within the Indian American community. The spark that ignited this firestorm was the inclusion of a float depicting the Ram Mandir temple, a structure recently built on the site of a demolished 16th century mosque in Ayodhya, India. This decision prompted the Indian Muslims of North America group to withdraw their participation, canceling a float that was meant to showcase the accomplishments of Muslims in India. Imtiaz Siamwalla, the organization's president, didn't mince words and stating, the politics that take place in India should stay in India. Once you come to this country, you become an American, and America is the land of tolerance and inclusion. This parade's theme, ironically, was the world is one family, a stark contrast to the divisiveness that it apparently caused. Even New York City Mayor Eric Adams distanced himself from the event, with his office emphasizing the need for celebrations to be welcoming and inclusive. This incident highlights the complex challenges of balancing cultural plot pride with historical sensitivities in multicultural America, especially when echoes of homeland conflicts reverberate across oceans. So let me just unpack this all a little bit. Okay. So this was the 42nd annual India Day Parade held in New York City, which is one of the largest like Indian centric parade events that happens in the United States. Like Bollywood celebrities attend, huge people. There's a lot of, it's huge. It's huge. Thousands of people attend. And so what had happened was that there was a float, the little thing going down the street. There was a replica of the Ram Mandir temple. So let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about what that is. So there is a place in India called Ayodhya. And in Ayodhya, there was a mosque called the Barbary Mosque or Babri Masjid. This was a masjid that was constructed in the 15th century. Now, this masjid was on an extremely contested site that was
Masjid means
believed,
mosque.
yeah,
I
that
should
is
say.
believed by Hindus to be the birthplace of Lord Ram, one of the most revered deities within their tradition, right? And this mosque was built on top of this place believed to be where he was born, one of their holiest sites. And this has always been a kind of grievance that was felt. And basically what had happened is that in 1992 there was a group of extremist Hindus that went and demolished the mosque that was there. And after that happened, there were riots that occurred throughout the country that resulted in over 2,000 people dying, most of them Muslim. And so this has been kind of a giant wound in the Indian national consciousness for decades. It's extremely contentious. So after this, there was this mosque was demolished. Then it became this giant court case about what should happen to this land next. And I'm giving you an extremely general overview, and people are welcome to correct me if I'm getting things wrong because people have dedicated their lives to studying this site and this issue. So if you're expecting me to be like give you super detailed information, you're not, you know, I'm giving you general background for people who are not familiar, right? This is an extremely contested thing. So there was a series of court cases that happened that led
This
to
is the
this
temple,
site.
right?
Yes, this is a mock-up of the temple that led to this site being excavated and having an archaeological investigation. And the archaeological investigation revealed evidence that underneath the mosque, that the mosque was built on top of Hindu temples. Now, my understanding is that there is very compelling evidence to believe that this was originally a Hindu temple that was destroyed and a mosque was built on top. And people have seen this as a symbol of Islamic domination in the Indian nation, right? Now, some of that archaeological evidence is contested. My understanding is that the evidence of there being a Hindu origin to this site is substantial. So the Indian courts ruled in favor of this being recognized as a Hindu site. And there were a series of other court cases that happened. And basically, the court ruled that this contested land will be divided in different ways. And that a temple acknowledging the birthplace of Ram Mandir, will be built, and that there will be land reserved in Ayodhya in a prominent place to build a new mosque. So it's not that they're simply the court ruled that what happened to the demolition of the mosque was wrong, but given that there is evidence that it was originally a Hindu temple, they are going to build a Hindu temple there, and land will also be designated to build a new mosque in a prominent place in Ayodhya. I don't believe construction has happened there yet. There is fundraising for that mosque though. And so over the years, there has been construction on this new temple. And it was very controversial because the prime minister, was involved in laying the first brick, and it's seen as an attack on India's secularism. And there's a whole secular angle to this thing. Recently, the temple actually had some of the construction is still ongoing, but they had kind of a little bit of a inauguration towards the actual Ram Mandir temple. And this was very recent, and this was a huge deal. This was a huge deal. And let me be honest, that temple is freaking stunning. The photos that
Yeah.
I have seen so far are breathtaking. Breathtaking. Regardless how you feel about the secular angle, I think it is very smart to build this temple because this will be something that attracts billions of dollars in tourism for generations to come. Just from that pure perspective, there is a real utility to having that. And out of curiosity, I was trying to find pictures of the Barbary Masjid before it was destroyed, and I'm like, this
It,
thing, people weren't taking care of it. It looks like shit. Like it's overgrown. The plants are like the site had been closed for several reasons for decades before it was demolished by the mob, right? And it had been closed off because the site was becoming increasingly contentious and causing conflict. And then it was just completely disused and it looked terrible. And now we have this like stunning temple, and then they're going to build a new mosque in a prominent place. So this is a very, very contentious site. Okay, so now let's bring this back into the American context now that we have a little bit of background information if you were not familiar with this. So basically, at the Indian Day parade, there was a group that had a replica of the temple that was going to go through the parade. And because of the presence of this replica and the history of the temple that it represents, this was offensive enough that the Indian Muslim Association, the Indian Muslim group, demanded that they pulled out of the entire event. They were sending issues of a complaint to the mayor and to the governor. I did some further digging, Armin. They called for the people who funded this temple replica to be investigated under the Foreign Agents Registration Act under FARA,
what?
which is a big deal. And some of the groups that were joining them in protesting the presence of this temple replica were groups like CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, which
What?
is a super shady organization for people that don't know, and Black Lives Matter New York. Now, what? Okay.
What the?
So that caught
What
my
the fuck?
attention. And some of the statements about the inclusion of this replica, I think are extremely unfair. For example, the statement of the guy who represents the Indian Muslims of North America saying, quote, the politics that stay in India should that take place in India should stay in India. Once you come to this country, you become an American, and America is the land of tolerance and inclusion. Tell me if I'm being unfair here, Armin. I'm about to posit something. Tell me if I'm out of pocket. If you believe that the politics in India should stay in India, and once you come to this country, you become an American, why are you involved in a parade that is celebrating the political independence as a nation of India itself? If you think that the politics of India should stay in India, is it unfair for me to say that doesn't seem consistent with
Mm.
celebrating Indian independence in its own parade? If you're like, no, we're Americans now. That's a different country. Now, let me be clear. In my real life, I don't actually have a problem with that. But that doesn't seem
Mm.
entirely consistent to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the whole thing is political, and
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like, you're celebrating your independence as a nation. Like that is a political thing. That that that's not American. Like 4th of
right.
July is American independence, baby. Like
All right. But so can I ask a couple of questions?
mhm,
This is the mosque before, right?
mhm.
Is that correct? And this is the
Yes.
temple now?
Yes. The inside is insanely beautiful.
All right. So this is what I call getting offended for the sake of weaponizing offense. Okay? Because you did not give a shit about this mosque. Look at this. This is what you cared about. I mean, if you cared about it, you would take care of you. I mean, you build it like this. You right? Obviously, you didn't care about this mosque until it was weaponized as it's like a bomb. Like Muslims, the Muslim community is not pathetically weak, and they cannot do what they used to do when they were empires. So now the bomb that they have, the main weapon that they have is just crying. Okay, they have managed to weaponize crying over things, and they're getting rewarded for being offended. This is what's happening, right? So something that was not an issue, and also as not this is not even Islamically an issue. Do you know
What is the
destroying
religious significance of the Barbary Mosque? What is the religious significance of the Barbary Mosque? Give me there might be
yeah,
historical significance, but
no,
sorry.
no. Hold on. Yeah, no, I was speaking. Like Islamically, there is nothing wrong with destroying a mosque and building it somewhere else. Like this is not something that you are taught as a Muslim that you should be offended over. It's not like burning the Quran or tearing a Quran that you're not supposed to. Like a mosque is this place that the building itself is not supposed to be something holy that you cannot touch, right? You can Islamically destroy a mosque and build it somewhere else. This is not even, I mean, as insane as Islam is, this is not even Islamically justified for you to be upset over it. What is the significance of this mosque? They're giving you a better mosque. You should be happy. You should be like, oh, so this insignificant mosque that we don't care about is being destroyed, and in response, we're gonna get a bigger, more glorious mosque somewhere else. That's a win. That's a fucking win. There is nothing. This is not like Makkah. This is not like Hussein's burial ground. This is not like Medina, like that is somewhere that is supposed to just stay there and no one's supposed to touch it or anything like that. This is nothing significant. This is just a fucking. This is not a foundational part of your like a piece of architecture that is foundational within it. I mean, the Hindus, at least for them, they can say like, no, this is like a foundation. This is on Hindu, like this is in the land that was historically Hindu. So this is in our myth. This is a foundational part. This land and this area is a foundational part of beliefs. Our beliefs. For you, that land is in it's either if you're Sunni, it's in Medina and Mecca, or if you're Shia, it's in Iraq, it's in Karbala, right? Or in Najaf. But what is this to you? This is not significant. You're pretending that this is significant to you. You're pretending that this is significant to you so you could cry about it. So you could cry about it and demand, like, oh, look at me, I'm so offended. Give me, give me, give me, give me. Give me power, give me relevance, give me importance, pay attention to me because I'm offended. And when people give into that, then you have to cry. Like, then you're gonna get more offended. Again, guys, if you pay attention to the Muslim community when they're offended, then they're going to try to get more offended because it's working. They're gonna cry more. This is working. They're getting the attention that they want.
It's called cry
And again,
bullying.
this is what look at this. This is what they got offended. So this is now Islamophobic. Look, this is what they got upset. That's Islamophobic now. This is what they're upset about. This is an attack of okay.
Now, here's one thing though. My understanding is that this float was funded by the US branch of the VHP. Now, Armin and I have had some run-ins with the VHP. It's no joke. Okay? So if you want to have an issue with the presence of the VHP, that's one thing. Okay? But the presence of the float itself, I don't think is such a cause for concern. And I have seen Indian Muslims themselves celebrate the construction of this temple because they're like, I am an Indian citizen. I know that this is of incredible significance to my neighbors, and I celebrate that they are now receiving something that is of deep spiritual significance to them, and when this is not of spiritual significance to me. And more power to them, more to those people that are like, you know what, I'm actually celebrating alongside my Hindu brothers and sisters and neighbors. um they're like, we're also getting a mosque. If you want to have a discussion about, like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like reparations for the families of people who died and experienced abuse and persecution during those riots in which thousands of people died, I think that's a conversation we can have. I'm not familiar with, to be honest, about what actions have already been taken to redress, the losses that were suffered in those riots. Um, that seems much more, if you're actually concerned about the people and not the ideology, that would be the right approach to take, right? How do we actually help service victims? That's actually focused on the humans that are impacted. Um,
I mean, look, I still can, guys. Can somebody enlighten me? Like, I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, they're getting a temple. You're getting an upgrade on a mosque. Everyone's getting something. What is there to complain about? Can somebody? I feel like I'm missing something here. You're getting your insignificant mosque that you yourself were ignoring is being destroyed and is being replaced by a brand new bigger mosque, and they're getting an upgrade on their temple and they're getting a beautiful temple. Who is losing here? Like, how dare you go and tell people around the world that Muslims are Muslims are being attacked, and this is what you cry about? The state is giving you a better mosque. Shouldn't you be proud of? Oh my God, look at this great nation! Just because they're building a temple here, they're building us another mosque. Shouldn't you be bragging about how your state is taking care of you? Like, isn't that a point of, like, nationalistic pride? Like, oh my God, thank you so much, so you're destroying this and building us another one? Like, what is there to I feel like I'm missing part of the story. What is there to complain about?
like, and then here's where we get into real trouble, because the mayor, Eric Adams, didn't attend this parade for the first time since he was mayor, and he even said, the mayor, oh God. Listen to this quote, Armin, and then think about the onslaught that's about to pour upon him. This is the quote from the mayor about this. If there is a person or a float in the parade that is promoting hate, they should not. The idea that this is promoting hate, I think, is a step too far.
Wow.
You could have feelings about the VHP. The VHP should be called out, but is the actual presence of this temple itself promoting hate? That the fact that the mayor said that, like, he's going to lose so much support for that statement. It's crazy. Um oh my god, there's so much more, I mean, that we could talk about when it comes to this. One thing that I think is very interesting to talk about and think about is that throughout the world and throughout history, there are so many examples of important sites that belonged to one group at one time, then was repurposed by another group at another time, and then repurposed again, and then repurposed again. And the way in which we deal with this as humans and within our societies is very complicated, right? Personally, I like to follow kind of the tradition of like the Mezquita y Catedral de Cordoba, where I went recently in Andalusia. It was amazing, where you get to see this amazing structure that was originally a Christian, and then it became a Muslim site, and then it was expanded and expanded and then became a cathedral again, and they kept all of it. They kept all of it. You're walking through the cathedral and you can see the Arabic calligraphy everywhere. You can see where stone workers were carving the name of Muhammad and Allah into the building. And then you can walk around the corner and you see the altar, you see the Eucharist, you see the rows for all the choirs and stuff. It's stunning. It's so beautiful, and they kept all of it together, and they preserved all of it together. And I think there is incredible historical worth and richness there. And I think it's worthwhile to try to keep both of these things together, regardless of who is in charge of that site at any given time, right? Because it's part of our shared human inheritance, this story of how these places and sites evolve. Um, and so I don't know. Sometimes the way that situations like this are handled just drive me crazy. I understand the sensitivity and why we might want to like completely wipe the slate, of the past and be like, oh no, this is 100% ours now. But this history is the story of everyone. Um, and I think preserving that is valuable. Um, y- Sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent.
No, no, no. That was really good. That was really good. I have some opinions about this, but I'm gonna um, not add them here because I want to go to the next story. And also, we got a lot of super chats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lot
Okay.
of super chats. So let's go through that, and then we go to the next story.
Um, Mumu is saying truly La La Land. Okay, well, thank you for the super chat, Mumu. Um, Kevin, oh, this is an important thing that I wanted to address. Saint Susie, I don't think there's anything wrong with Indians celebrating Indian independence as a nation, just like Jews celebrate
She
Israel
didn't say.
independence. Let me be clear. I am not actually saying that. I actually have zero
Yes.
problem with that. I also don't like how people use this as a point to show the like dual allegiance or like something in like insidious like that. I
Yeah,
think that's
no.
super what's the word
She
I'm looking
wasn't
for?
saying that. I mean,
Disingenuous.
you never said there's something wrong with that. You were saying you
I'm
were
saying
showing
if you
their
are
double
making the
standard.
yeah, if you're making the
Yes.
claim that the politics of India should stay in India, then to me that doesn't seem completely consistent with okay, then why are you celebrating Indian independence? Like I don't actually have a problem with that. I just think that person's statement is a bit inconsistent. Um
Yes.
uh but go ahead.
Yes. Kevin saying, okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, she was saying if they were saying if that standard applied, then why are you having this entire event as a whole? She was just trying to show that their standards is nonsense. Yeah.
If you're an American now and that's the only thing that matters to you, 4th of July was last month, buddy. um So, Secular Sakai is celebrating his membership for 23 months. Thank you so much, my friend. Saying keep up the important reporting. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you. And A gave a super chat and saying, is it just me or do Islamists just destroy the sacred sites of every land they go to and then cry when people take them back?
Well, I mean, to be fair, though Islamists who destroyed them are not the same Islamists who are crying right now. Okay, I will criticize the Islamists who are crying right now independent from what they're at for what those people did before, right? This is insane. Regardless, crying about this is insane on its own, regardless of what people did before. I'm not in favor of holding people responsible for what people did centuries ago. I'm looking at your crying. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to hold you responsible for the destructions of other people's temple, but you're still insane for crying about this. You're still stupid. You're stupid independent from your ancestors. You're stupid just by yourself. Okay? You're stupid now. Okay? You're not stupid because of centuries of discrimination and oppression. You as an individual are an idiot. I'm judging you personally. I'm not judging you. I'm not doing guilt by association. I'm looking at you as a person, independent person, and I'm like calling you out as an
This
idiot.
is a personal attack.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
Armin, do you actually mind doing a few super chats just while I go get some more water?
Okay. I'll do. I'll do. All right. Let's go to um, Erkin. Erkin is saying, remember, Armin, Islam is a right-wing authoritarian system. Authoritarian right-wing people usually act uh, hedonically, really, when there's no, whereas there's not a common value. Um, I wouldn't say right-wing authoritarian system. Right-wing authoritarian. It's just authoritarian. Is it right-wing authoritarian? Like, what does it about Islam make it right? I mean, when we call Islam far right, it's because of the authoritarianism of Islam that we call it far right. But what about Islam makes it right leaning? Yeah, that's something I have to think about. It's just authoritarian. It's fascistic. That's what it is. Oh wait, I already highlighted that. Secular Sakai, thank you so much for the $2 sticker. Appreciate that. And then let's go to GJ saying, Dear AR Kings, wow, and Queens, right? Most normal people hated history class. Why is the D in parentheses? I don't understand why you write like this. Okay, so more hated history class, despite you think them wrong and you are right. You are right. I don't understand this. I will not give them your pedantic message. Armin's disconnect to normal people and sometimes disappointing and arrogant.
Oh, he's
Well,
talking
I
about
have
how
no.
you told him to tell his friends that saying Persia and Persian instead of Iran are wrong. That's what he's referring to.
Oh, so correcting people about their mistakes is disappointing and arrogant. Will consider me arrogant then if somebody says something wrong and I'm trying to correct them. If that's arrogant, then I'm proudly arrogant. But thank you for the super chat. Do you want to read this one?
Trells gave a super chat saying, reminds me of the pictures of Al-Aqsa from the 19th century, showing it to have also been in disrepair. Muslims seem to only care about it when it is weaponized.
Reminds me of the picture Oscar from the 19th century showing it also. Are you saying that the Israel is responsible for building it and repairing it? That's I didn't know that. I should look into that.
I don't know if he's
Interesting
actually
fact.
making that claim. He's just saying that it used to be in disrepair.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Islam makes you weak economically. So even if you wanted to rebuild stuff, the more Islamized you are, the less capable you are of building things. Islam helps you with destroying things. It doesn't really help you with building things. And even the mosque. By the way, even the mosques that Islam built, the architecture that they have is not really Islamic, right? So you could look at the so-called golden age of Islam. I mean, so-called when it comes to is not. It wasn't a golden age. It was a golden age, but it wasn't because of Islam, right? But if you could look at all the architecture and all the methodology comes from the Persian Empire. The Abbasid caliphs basically copied all of that. The architecture of mosques come from the Sassanid dynasty. And they
Including
copied their
Moorish
style and
architecture? I was losing my mind at all Moorish architecture in
no,
Andalusia.
no,
Oh my god, it was so
no,
beautiful.
no. That is more of a reflection of things in that corner, right? I'm talking
Okay.
about Yeah. But I mean, if did you see the? Okay, anytime you saw a dome and the gumbad and the, what is that thing called, the taller? Did you see any the dome looking mosques, like the dome central part of the mosque? Like
Well, and
that
when I
dome
was
structure
touring
comes from
Alhambra, there were lots of little qiblas and stuff that were domed
yeah.
inside.
So that's basic. That's Persian architecture
Mm.
that even that got into Islam from the south, and that's Zoroastrian that went into Islam. Anyways, um, yeah, Islam itself, like the nature of Islam is focused on destruction, right? Anything that Muslims built, they didn't build because of Islam. The things that Muslims destroyed, they destroyed because of Islam. So you want to read the rest?
Bar Mustel gave us super chat. He's celebrating his membership for 4 months. Thank you for supporting the channel. Saying no one can get benefits but Islam. That's it. No one can get benefits but Islam. I'm not sure I
No one
entirely
can
understand.
get benefits. I think he's saying that, I don't know, the double
It only
standard.
is
I think
serving
he's
the
trying to double.
ideology.
Yeah. I mean, they can't. Oh, so I think like when they're talking about the temples, like if anything un-Islamic is benefiting, he said they're not happy with that. I think that's what it is. By the way, we got like, look at this. We got the big super chat from Secular Sakai.
Oh my
Thank you so
goodness.
much.
Kai, thank you. Oh, saying bigger donation to say Armin and Susie are both awesome. Long live Atheist Republic. Oh my god, you're the best, Sakai. We've missed you. Glad to see you back.
Thank you.
And along
Thank you,
that line,
Secular
HD
Sakai.
Drake just gave another super chat saying this super chat is to thank Armin and Susanna for dropping knowledge. Thank you guys for your information. Thank you, HD Drake. Thank you. And I
Thank
know this
you.
last story we covered is like very contentious and there's lots of different historical understandings and knowledge. So if anyone thinks that I got something wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments because like I said, people dedicate their lives to understanding just that specific little place. I probably got something wrong.
Yeah. This TLDR version of it is that the mosque was not historically as significant as a temple, right? So from a secular perspective, from a non-religious perspective, as a secular, if you're looking at the historical value of certain things, the temple was historically significant. The mosque was not historically significant. Okay, even as a anti-Islamic secular activists, if one day all of Saudi Arabia becomes a secular nation state, a completely secular nation state, if somebody wants to destroy the Kaaba, I'm like, what the hell? No, this is a historical. Yeah, that's like a historical piece of like building. Like, what the hell? Like, you're like, in the same way that I would defend that temple not being destroyed because of its historical value, I wouldn't be in favor of destroying the Kaaba because this has historical significance. I mean, I would be in favor of having a gay pride parade all around it. That would be, I would be in favor of that. But I wouldn't be. But I would not be in favor of destroying it. Obviously. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not being a hypocrite. In the same way that I would defend that temple because of the historical significance, I, as an anti-Islam activist, I would defend not destroying the Kaaba. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.